We're loading up.
Oh, Scotty, we're live.
We are live?
Yeah, we're live right now.
We're on?
We're back on.
Goodness, Suki.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, this is the pre-show before the big show.
Yeah.
And boy, do we have a fantastic show for you.
Oh,
look.
What?
Usual people signing on. Hi, Cherry.
Jeannie Clay is with us.
Clay.
Pam Apolloni.
Hello, Pam. We haven't seen you in a bit.
Cherry Hetrick is here.
Cherry is like she's the leader of the band.
Cherry got a double pop from us today. Yes.
Anyway,
good to see
Scott
everybody.
and I always want to say thank you to you guys because you really make the show possible. And the fact that you are the community inside this other bigger community that we're building, we can't thank you enough.
Are we still building, Suki?
We're still building.
Are we still building?
We're always building.
All right.
We're always building, getting bigger, getting stronger.
4 years.
4 years and counting.
900 shows.
We're tired, but
1,800 celebrities.
We're just waiting for it.
Oh,
it's so tangible. It's crazy.
Oh, brass ring, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway.
Brass ring. Anyway, we got a great show for you today. Before we get started, Suki, let's just tell everybody. You know, if I say to you, ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
If I say lovely day.
Lovely day. Lovely day.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Lean on me.
Lean on me.
How do you end with that, right?
When you're not strong. So that's, of course, the legendary Bill Withers.
Yes.
Singer, songwriter, Songwriting Hall of Fame. Guy had an incredible career.
Come on.
He's done it all. His daughter, Kori, is joining us today because she's an amazing singer in her own right. And they were able to,
artist.
They were able to do some stuff together, Suk, which I'll show you.
It's beautiful.
But can you imagine Bill Withers as your
Your
dad?
dad?
You're gonna be a great singer also, I would assume.
I would think it's in the DNA, but not always. But with Kori, it's definitely in the DNA, and she's an artist in her own right. And she also has a book that's out.
Yes, one of Bill's big songs was called Grandma's Hands, and so she wrote a book
around it,
it's like a picture book with the story of the song. It's really cool, and all throughout, now throughout the summer, she's been doing appearances and they're doing book signings, and everybody's loving the book. So she's coming up in just a minute, but we'll start the show. Let's officially start this bad boy. And then we'll get underway. You guys ready to rock and roll?
In 3,
Go ahead, Suki. Hopefully I hit the right button.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott, that's 7 of hearts. Exactly.
What she said.
This is a sexy show.
Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights the kung flu, is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen. Your intro is fantastic.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Suki and Scott back out of the box like a cannon. Boy, oh boy. Suki, you saw Jackie Goldschneider.
Yes, I did.
From Housewives of New Jersey.
The Real Housewives of New Jersey.
I ran into Jackie Goldschneider.
And I think we should have her back on.
We're going to have her back on.
I reached out to Luann de Lesseps from the Real Housewives of New York.
Right.
So I feel like we could do a Housewives thing.
Well, so I'm at the Riverside Square Mall in Bergen County. And we go into Houston's, which, you can't get a seat in Houston. So I walked in just to say, hey, how long do we have to wait? And who's standing there waiting but Jackie and Teresa Giudice or Teresa
Giudice.
And I was tapping Jackie on the shoulder, and she looked at me and she's like, hey, Suki and Scott. Teresa wanted nothing to do with me. She's like, who is this peasant sitting here talking to us, trying to pick us up in the restaurant? And Jackie was great. She said, yep, call my guy. We'll get us back on. the whole thing.
Great.
And they're back on for like their 15th season now.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of drama. It's like a lot of drama, but I think that we could give them another spotlight, right? To clear the
Yes.
drama. I mean, I know Andy Cohen
Not a
does
lot
a
of
great
fighting.
job.
Not a lot of fighting.
I
in
don't
this
want a
season,
lot
I
of
don't think.
fighting. It's a lot. Sometimes I'm like, this is a lot. There's
Anyway,
a lot.
Suk, we have an amazing show coming up right now. Suki, when I say to you, ain't no sunshine when she.
I mean, even and let me just tell you something. Lovely Day during the pandemic was such an anthem for so many.
I know there were a lot of social media,
a lot of
right?
social media. I mean, I
Lovely
always
day.
wondered what Bill Withers would have thought about that. That young kids have like embraced this song as the possibilities of of the day, of the moment, and to be in the moment. So
yeah.
I always thought that was kind of lovely.
And I'm pretty sure he passed away right in 2020 March.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
literally right when the pandemic
Yeah.
started to kick in. But I mean, come on, lean on me.
Well, I mean,
when you're not strong.
I mean, that's an anthem, right?
So anyway, Bill's daughter, Kori, is a great singer in her own right. She's had a chance growing up, and as she was an adult, she got to sing with Bill. Some duets, some great times with them, and she's got a new one of Bill's big songs is called "Grandma's Hands," and he's got she's got a new book out, which he's out talking about. It's the book of the story of the song, and it's really cool. So she's coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to talk to her. We're going to sing. We'll talk about the book, and it's going to be great. But Sue, before she comes on, I read a story the other day.
Okay.
What age do you become when you're no longer cool anymore? There was a study.
Like there is an actual study when you don't become cool anymore.
People think that they reach where they're kind of out of touch with pop culture and they're no longer cool, Suki.
Oh, I don't know. We kind of keep pushing that ball down the road nowadays, right? Where
go ahead. What age
at least
do you
in
think?
Our minds.
What was the median age, Suki, that people feel 2,000
Who were the people that were polled?
Don't know.
Okay.
2,000 people were polled. What was the median age that most people said they kind of felt they were out of touch? Suki, the age, I'm going to shock you right
65.
here. The age is 39, Suki.
39?
39. Now,
is it because AI has been introduced?
They
and
feel like that they're
just moving fast?
they're out of touch with pop culture, with the celebrities, with the slang terms. I'm a little past 39.
With the Riz, my daughter goes like this. You go like this, and then you go like this.
I got to tell you,
I don't know what it means.
I'm the coolest guy I know, and I'm way past 39 at this point. So I think the study is
it's flawed.
I think it's uncool to study.
It's flawed. But I have to say, like kids, you know how you used to be like, "What's up? What's going on?" You know what my kid says?
What?
What's good?
What's good?
What's good?
What's good?
I'm like, "What's good?"
So Sue,
so I do get the slang term. The whole Riz word, don't ever use it because the fact that it's in commercials now
it's the worst.
Means that it's so played out. Like, forget about that.
Suki, I'm going to give you a little test on Gen Z slang real quick.
All right, Gen Z.
Because I want to see what you know and see if you're cool.
Okay,
or
what's
if you're
good?
way
What's
past.
good, Scott? What's good?
Suki, if you're told to do something for the plot, what does that mean?
Do it for the plot?
Do it for the plot.
Do it for the money.
Do it for the plot, bro.
Do it for the money?
Nope. It means to do something for the experience, Suki. You are so uncool, I can't even tell you. And maybe some people don't know. If someone says that guy's got the Riz.
Riz means he's got the flavor, the charm.
But what's the word that we're looking for?
Riz. Actual Riz.
It's short for charisma.
Oh,
Sue.
charisma.
So yes, so somebody got the Riz.
Yeah, you got the Riz.
I'd say, so you got the Riz. You got Riz.
I mean, it's so played out that it's in a commercial, so you can't use the word Riz anymore. It's
Suki,
not
if you say
Rizific.
If you say this person, Suki, that person ate. That person ate. ATE.
Ate means like they're really hip.
They did something flawlessly.
Yeah, flawlessly.
Is
they
the word.
ate.
Suki, that Chipotle was bussin'.
Oh, bussin' means it's fantastic. It's bussin', Mom. It's so good.
Really good, right?
Yeah, it's bussin'. I've heard that before.
Do you know what a millennial pause is? Not to be confused with menopause, Suki. You know what that is.
God damn you on that one.
You know what a millennial pause is. The millennial pause. Right? It's the pause you take before recording yourself on your cell phone.
Oh my God.
It's called a millennial pause to make sure your phone's recording.
Yeah.
You know what Delulu means?
Delulu? Delusional.
Nicely done. If you say this guy's capping, What's that mean?
Lion, your cat.
Nice,
cat.
nice, Suki.
Well, that's all my kids say. Cat,
And you
cat.
know, sus.
Sus
So
means
sus.
it's like they're suspect.
Suspect, right? Nice.
Like they're not like, there's something wrong with them.
So listen, you're cool. You're almost cool. Some you knew.
Some I knew,
Yeah.
but these kids, I actually think they have hyphenated so many, and they use words like my daughter uses preppy right now. That's so preppy. That's so preppy. You know what preppy means? That it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so in. And I'm like, that's not what preppy was
You're
when I
like,
was growing up.
Shut up, get in your room.
It was collars up, polos, boat shoes.
Right.
That's what preppy was. But now preppy means it's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that we've got you up
Yeah.
to date on
Yeah.
the words that the kids are using right now. And by
We're
the way,
we're about to be bussing on this show.
yeah, I know. And you know what? Are they Gen Alpha? Aren't they Gen Alpha?
So, I don't know. I don't know the
Okay.
gens anymore. I'm out. Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Y.
We're Gen X, right?
Are we Gen X?
No.
Baby boomers?
Oh, yeah, we're Gen. I'm not a baby boomer.
No,
You're not a baby boomer.
not a baby. No, not baby boomer.
That's
we
our
came
parents.
after the baby
Our parents
boomers,
are
yeah.
baby boomers.
Suki,
I'm like, why are you aging us? No.
I got to tell you something.
We're
We are so
80s,
much
90s
cooler than the
kids.
kids are these
I know,
days.
I know,
Sue.
I know.
That's all I could tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, Kori Withers coming up right now. She's got a new book out called Grandma's Hands. Here she is a little bit, and then we're going to bring her on the other side. Take a look.
Till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow for, no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. I said, call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem.
And you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. There she is, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
Kori, how are you,
Wow.
young lady?
I'm doing so well now that you do all this singing. I've enjoyed all the singing.
Well, we thought
Yeah.
we'd let the expert do
It's
it.
not good. We do it, but it's not great singing.
You know what? A lot of men will not spontaneously sing, and I have a theory that there's a lot more great voices we could be hearing because of that. So whenever a man sings, I said yes. There we go.
Well,
You might have a problem.
You're just egging him on right here, Kori. You have given the platform and the okay for him to just bust into song.
Light it
Just
up. Light it up.
Broadway. Yeah.
Kori, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you. I'm here at the Harlem branch at the market across from Marcus Garvey Park at the New York Public Library. We did an event
Absolutely
here.
beautiful.
Yes.
Are you being too loud for everybody? You're okay?
I'm okay. I think so. They told me I could have the room to myself.
Then I got to throw you out, right?
No, and they have a beautiful lounge downstairs for the kids. And we had about 100 kids here. We were doing grandma stories, and they were telling us about their grandmothers and all the things that they do.
Well, tell us about it. I mean, you're there, publicizing the book and kind of creating these beautiful forums where you're having conversations about your new book called Grandma's Hands. So tell us about Grandma's Hands.
Yeah, I mean, for us, the book Grandma's Hands is really kind of a lesson plan for how to talk about grandmothers. It's just that simple. That's how we're treating it. And we love the fact that the children's book market is a place where you can have beautiful visuals with text. Is one of the only places that you can really have that in a short form. So, when Dad passed and we were thinking about what things to do, we remembered that this publisher, Joel Harper, had contacted Dad about doing a children's book based on his songs, because his book was called Frankie Finds the Blues, that he had written about his grandmother introducing him to music. So we said, okay, we're going to be in a line of succession with a children's book publisher, but we're also going to honor Dad's favorite song, his grandmother, who none of us got to meet, and it's just really special for us because it really is about the kids. When you see a kid's face light up with pride about their grandparent, it's so special to see how much they understand.
It is so special. When you say Dad, you're talking about the great Bill Withers. I mean, it's just...
Yes. Yes, and I know Dad is here in spirit because so many things you're talking about are things that he just would talk about all the time about. First of all, Dad was always cool. He never got uncool. It wasn't like age made him less cool. I went all through my teenage years. I never was cooler than him, you know, or my mother really. And I think a lot of people have parents like that, where you actually look to your parents to find out
Yeah.
what's cool. And half the time I might say something to him and to them, they were like, oh, this is old news. We already know about that. So
Yeah.
Dad's music is just a wonderful place that celebrates community. You talk about Lean on Me. I said to the kids today, does anybody know the song Lean on Me? And they all raise their hands.
Of
They're,
course, yeah.
you know, only up to 8 years old.
I mean, that's
And
kind of
that's how-
incredible.
It's been the song's been redone many times. It's been covered. You've seen it in movies. So you know, like even my kids, who one's in their 20s, one's 14. You know, they know these songs. All these classic tunes are coming back, even on all because of social media posts as well. They use the kids are using these songs.
Yeah, I'm going to start joking. Like, Lean on Me is faster than Wi-Fi sometimes, because like the kids are old enough to walk, talk, read, and know Lean on Me before I can even realize there's a new gen and we have to name it. You know, and that's one of the beautiful things about music. So that's all we want to do, is just continue the work that he started and put the focus on the children and their grandparents.
Oh,
because
Kori, when did
you
you
know.
realize your dad was the Bill Withers? Like, when did that happen for you, and the music legacy that then ensued, and the passion for you too that was ignited?
Well, my parents worked together. My mother has run the publishing company since 1975. So my brother and I grew up aware that music was the family business. That's why we went to the dentist, and there was insurance to cover. We were very clear on SAG-AFTRA and just the working class part of it. My dad was a working class blue collar person who had a special gift, and he approached music, you know, with the same work ethic of we get up every day and we do it, you know. And so as far as the rest of the world, kids would say, oh, your dad's the Lean on Me guy. And I wouldn't even know how they had known the song. I was like, we don't sing that song at school. How do you even know that song? And so over time, then you have the sampling coming in. There's a generation of hip hop that's, you know, on the no diggity.
Yeah.
And everybody's on the, you know, they just know the guitar lick.
I have a problem.
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
every time something new pops up, it kind of takes us through the songs. And like you said, I love what you said about the pandemic and when he passed, because it was like something he really would have gotten a kick out of, seeing how the song was still useful for people, or his music was still useful.
Well,
without the business, without the commercial stuff, the fame, you know, none of that, just people trying to live.
Suk, I was watching just the other day, because I was looking at some of your stuff, Kori, and I came upon a video of Bill Withers on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And he's playing, you know, he's out there playing. Johnny brings him over, which wasn't always the case, right? When you got to go over to Johnny calls him over, and your dad sat down, and he was just like, he was so low key and not nervous. And he and Johnny were just having this conversation, and Johnny's asking him all these things, and he's like, nah, man, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy who started singing. I did my own stuff. Blah, blah, and it got myself to where I am today. And I was just, because a lot of people go, you know, you get nervous, you get all amped up. He was just like, he was the coolest dude in the room.
And that was, I've never had an experience in my time on earth where my dad wasn't the coolest person in the room. And he was just very specific that way. He had so much charisma. I don't know if he knew about Riz, but he was, you know, he had so much charisma, and he was a deeply feeling person. So, you know, for us, this is gold.
For me, the songs, I mean, like, those songs are a testament of time, right? I mean, like, really. And you could see the simplicity and the and just the ease of the music, and you could see where it comes from. I mean, Lean on Me, when he put that anthem together, I mean, it is an anthem at this point for so many generations. Did he know it was going to have those legs, and that it continued to have for decades?
Well, I mean, you know, I would guess that he hoped, like any writer hopes, that people hear their work he hoped that the song would mean something and be useful, but it's kind of a hymn of its own. So I think he hoped that it could get into the flow of other hymns, which is really hard to do in popular music. They're not really that supportive of that kind of music. So he had to fight to get that song even heard, because it was like, why are we going to do this lean on me? Why are we in the 70s? You know, why are we doing that? And then people say what's important, you know?
Oh,
so
yeah. And then there was
for us, yeah.
I was just, there was a movie too called Lean on Me about the principal, right?
Yeah.
In Detroit, maybe, or
no, in Newark.
In Newark?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the movie was
Joe
called
Clark.
Yeah, Joe Clark.
Joe
That's
Clark.
it.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that film. I thought it was just so beautifully made. I was a kid at the time, but looking back on it, it's so well directed. I mean, the performances of those young actors in that film, I still recommend that movie. And then, yes, that was in the time when we had songs that were theme songs for movies. Hopefully you guys remember that, where when a really great film came out, there was a big song that was
We always say that all the time.
Yeah.
There's this day and age, you don't have those sitcom theme songs anymore. You know,
don't have those movie
things.
theme songs that kind of encapsulated the whole feeling of the movie. They're missing out, this generation, in a little bit of that, I have to say.
Yeah, you know, and for us, and I think for Dad, he was a very technical person, like an engineer, very fix-it, very smart. And for him, I think music is a technology, a science. You know, playing an instrument is very scientific. Writing is very scientific. And so the beauty of that is that it has so much potential for healing. So the fact that this, you know, this simple song that he wrote on the piano, and he wasn't a piano player, you know, and he said, I can get a song out of this thing, really speaks to the science of music and musical instruments, and why everyone should feel like they can approach it. Great. Everyone should feel like when you say, I'm going to sing, that's what it's about.
I want to show you, Gesuk, a little bit of you and your dad just, you know, kind of kicking it around a little bit.
Come on, Kori, sing that bridge.
Oh, by the way, I just want to say, anytime of the night or day, I will be just a telephone call.
That brought tears to my eyes. That was such a beautiful moment. I mean, it was so palatable. I mean, just that connection that you have with your father, that is just so beautiful. What is it like to share that?
Or even just to watch that
connection.
Back now.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's just special for me to see that. I see that in the world. And Dad was really big on universal things. Like, I see people with their kids where they share a trade or something like that. And that's just a big part of the human family. So I feel lucky that I happen to enjoy music as much, or as, you know, nearly as much as my dad. So it's something we can bond over. Some people it's fixing cars. Some people it's, you know, collecting newspapers. It doesn't really matter what it is that you find to connect on, but that just happens to be our thing. You know, there's a little luck involved. Everybody's not going to sit at the piano and write Lean on Me, you know, when they don't know how to play. Yeah. But everybody has more in them than you can see on the surface. And especially these kids today, where they don't know a world without smartphones and having to be photographed all the time. You know, this message that who you are beneath the surface is who your grandmother sees. So when you become an adult, and she never got to see what you looks like at your full height, but the person that's beneath your skin is that grandmother always loves that person. And that love is always with you, you know? So Dad's grandmother passed, I think he was 15. His father died when he was 12, you know, so he grew up very quickly. He went to the Navy and served for 9 years. So by the time he got to the music business, he was a fully functioning, reasonable, rational adult. And his music reflects that. A lot of people grow up in the music business. They start at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They don't even ever get to go out in the world. They don't even get to have a perspective and kind of, you know, hang and observe people as a poet like Dad would want to do. So it's a gift to be able to be, you know, over 30, over 40, over 50, over 60. And he always treated it that way.
I love that.
You know, so that's really the message that we want, is that this is about a Black family where the grandmother went to church and played the tambourine, and she was protecting you from getting, you know, your little whooping. And if you get to heaven, you know, you want to look for grandma, and the music reflects Dad's spirit. But you could have that for somebody from Albania, somebody from Serbia, somebody from Australia. The idea of love between generations is universal. So rather than just focus on Dad and his greatness, which I could do all day, it's my main man, you know, what really was important to him was other people. So we're trying to serve his legacy by putting the spotlight on the book, the little boy that wrote about his grandmother, kids literacy, music, education. You know, these are things that are constantly ongoing, and they can be they are timeless, and they should be, as music is. So we just want to say, this song's not going anywhere. When you die, they're still going to be singing Lean on Me. We may as well put Grandma's Hands in there too, so that people have a little booklet that they drew in with crayons and wrote their grandmother's name for the first time. And you can, you know, tape little pictures. I'm a big kind of scrapbooker. You can tape, you know, you can just own it and mess it up and make it, you know, play with it. You know, really,
You want it? Let's take a look at Bill in action, a little in his younger days. Watch.
Wonder this time where she's gone. Wonder if she's gonna stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away.
I know.
Kori, listen. Are you allowed to sing in that room you're in at all, or no?
What? Don't make me stick my airplane wings out and start flying. I love singing in empty rooms. I love singing in empty rooms. I'm trying to be professional. Yes. What would you like to hear? Grandma's Hands?
Yeah, give me a little since it's celebration of the book. Give us a little Grandma's Hands.
Yes. So we had the kids and we did Grandma's Hands, clapped in church on Sunday morning. Grandma's Hands, play the tambourine so well. Grandma's Hands used to issue out a warning. She'd say, Billy, don't you run so fast. Might fall on a piece of glass. Might be snakes that in that grass. Grandma's Hands. Hey, that's one verse.
Miss Withers, we're going to have to ask you to leave the library now. You violated all of our policies.
There's a lot of people in that library right now. She's owning that room and owning that space.
Well, let me put this. I know you have, and again, this if we can get it on before then, I know you got on Sunday coming up at the city vineyard, right? You got a whole. Is that Valerie Simpson from Ashford and Simpson?
The Valerie Simpson,
wow.
Yes. Sugar bar extraordinaire, yes. We're so excited to have her spirit and talent with us.
Right on Mother's Day, huh? Look at that.
Yeah, so City Vineyard is different from City Winery. I just want to make a note. This one is Pier 26. And it's just one of those beautiful panoramic venues where you're looking at the river and people walking by and they're like, oh, that girl's singing over there. You know, it's we really want to be a piece of the landscape. And every Mother's Day, you got to find something new to show Mom that you appreciate her, that you're not just going through the motions, you know. So having an event is saying, hey, if you have 5 moms to take care of, or 2 moms that you all want to bundle, bring them to our show. We're going to be reading. It's going to be grandmothers. Like, you know, it's really just creating community space. And then we're really happy to have Everett Bradley on percussion, who works with SAY here in New York, the Stuttering Association for the Young. We didn't talk about it, but Dad was a stutterer as a kid. And part of the reason his grandmother was so special to him is that he was bullied a lot. And she was the voice in his head that said, you're lovable, you're going to be okay, you're going to grow, that he carried with him until he could write this song, quite frankly.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
So we really love to have Everett. He's a world-class music director who plays percussion. He and the founder of SAY met in Stomp at, you know, as percussionists playing in Stomp here in New York. And they have, you know, they're going to have multiple generations of kids who stutter, who have gone to camp together, who have theater performances together. They rap, sing, all of that. And they honored Dad as one of their stuttering honorees very early on. And so for us to have those 2 people, Valerie Simpson and Everett Bradley,
solid as a rock.
I mean,
right? Is that Ashford and Simpson?
That is, of course. Yeah, of course.
Solid
That's
as
Ashford
a
and Simpson,
rock.
yeah.
Yes, and I have to mention Marcus Machado, who's a New Yorker, who's on guitar. He's a prodigy, not like those of us who work. He works too, but he's a real prodigy, like a Jimi Hendrix level guitar player, one of the nicest gentlemen also. And his sister's a great musician. So we really have great people in the room. It's going to be a real show for grown folks, but it's going to be loose and it's going to be casual. So wheelchairs welcome, strollers welcome.
That's
you know, we're going to work with it.
The name of the book is Grandma's Hands. Of course, the music of Bill Withers. Talking with Kori Withers. She is the daughter of this legendary singer-songwriter. Kori, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure.
And Kori, the fact that you were able to like highlight our grandmothers and make us pause and reflect about, you know, how much, you know, our grandparents had an effect on us. You're right. We don't, you know, the generations sometimes get lost, you know, in sharing those stories. And this is like a perfect pause that you can have with your children to reflect and say your grandmother's name and say how important she was in your life. So thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate that.
Kori,
thank you, Suki. Dad would have loved your name.
Oh,
the book is, Dad would, he loved to say things. He's, oh yeah, Suki girl's my girl. I'm talking to Suki.
Oh man, that would have been an incredible
Flavor
like, oh Suki, one more thing, Suki, yeah, Suki Yuki, Sukiyaki, all that.
I love it. I would have loved it.
Sukiyaki. We used to get that all the time.
Wasn't there a song in the 70s called Sukiyaki back in the day?
Yeah, it was a band. Wasn't it?
A band.
Taste of Honey, one of those.
Right. Boogie, oogie, oogie.
Yeah.
Anyway, the book is called Grandma's Hands. Kori, where could people get it if they want to get it online?
So it's everywhere books are sold. It's Amazon, Barnes & Noble. We have our own website, grandmashandsbook.com. And then if you want to, you know, look at the socials, because it's just easier for you to remember that way, there's Grandma's Hands Book IG, Real Bill Withers IG, and then mine is Kori Withers with an underscore. For future shows or anything. But we want this book to be a yearbook for people to have something to write about their grandmother in, you know.
Beautiful.
Kori, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Continued success. Keep singing. Keep doing your thing. It's all great.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
And
wait. You know what? Before you go, I need 15 seconds of Lean On Me. Come on. What are we doing here? Let's
Lean
go.
on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on.
I just might have a problem that you'll understand.
Oh, good
We
harmonizing,
all
Sue.
need somebody to lean on. In your father's memory. We
Kori,
love
thank
you,
you so much.
Kori. In your father's memory.
Thank y'all.
Kori,
Beautiful.
take care. Happy Mother's Day. And again, you knocked that book out of the park. We love it.
Same to you and yours, and we'll be watching.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Suki, how great was that?
I know. And you know what, everybody? But get the book. It's called Mother. It's wherever you find books.
Mother's Hands.
Mother's Hands. I'm sorry, Mother's Hands. It's wherever you find books. So just
wherever
go
you find books.
Wherever you find books these days. I don't know.
Remember, it used to only be Amazon.
It used to be, but you could find it anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah,
Wherever
anywhere,
books
right.
are sold.
There
Suki.
you go. Wherever you find books. Wherever books are sold. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, it's a legacy, and it's like she said, it's a yearbook for other people to pass on the legacy of their grandparents to their children. So we keep their memories alive. So it's a beautiful, beautiful kind of full circle moment.
Guys, lots more to do. Don't move. We're coming right back. Suki and Scott show. Don't move a muscle.
Bye, everybody. Oh, we'll be back.
Well, Suki.
We'll be back.
Don't ruin my toss to break. Suki, I got to tell you, last time we were talking about the Exchange Place Alliance down at the Jersey City waterfront. I actually had an opportunity on my way home from work one day to pass through.
Go check it out.
Suki, we got to get down there. I mean, this is the new place to be. You know why I'm excited? It just reminded me of the South Street Seaport and just looking at the space and the facilities and the kids, the playground, all the things we talked about with Martin Schmidt last time. It's just fantastic. I can't wait for you to see it all in person.
Well, we want to bring in Martin Schmidt into the conversation because he's with the Exchange Place Alliance in Jersey City.
Come on in, Martin.
Martin, you look great. How are you doing?
Very good. I'm floating in the sky here.
I love it. I love it.
You know, we touched on it last time you were here on the show. The playgrounds really stood out to me because, you know, just between the location and the size,
view.
yeah, the view and the size of the playground, everything that's there, I got to assume families with young kids are going to have an absolute ball down at the Jersey City waterfront.
Absolutely. We opened that playground, the new one, this past May or June it was. And it's just consistently every single day with good weather. It's just packed with people, packed with children playing right on the waterfront.
Tell people what they're going to be actually experiencing.
Yeah, so you're on the waterfront, you're looking across the Hudson River. First and foremost, you see downtown Manhattan, you see the World Trade Center, the financial center, Wall Street, just beautiful views. And then you turn to the left, looking north up the Hudson, you see a great, panoramic skyline. You see the Empire State Building, Hudson Yards. If you look really hard, you can see tiny islands, everything that's going on in New York City. It's awesome. You can watch ships, go down the river if you want. And
what I love about this is that it's easy to get to in mass transportation.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. If you're coming on train, if you're coming from New York City, you take the subway to Fulton Street, to the Oculus, and then just take the PATH train right over to Exchange Place. Even if you're coming from 33rd Street in Manhattan, just take the PATH train, get off at Exchange Place. That's literally right on the waterfront. You can also take the ferry if it's nice weather. Take that from Brookfield Place right across the river. There's two different ferries. There's the Liberty Landing Ferry and New York Waterway. Both will get you into our district from New York City. And here on the New Jersey side, there's also the Hudson Bergen Light Rail.
Whether you're just going on your first date or you've been married for a long time like us, it makes for a very romantic, atmosphere there. You see all these pictures of couples sitting out there looking at the skyline of the city. You've got the great restaurants. You could have a little adult beverage or two.
Yeah, and the amount of proposals, believe it or not, that we see on the waterfront is just all the time. On a summer night, people set up their hearts, their flower hearts, and it's awesome, and we love seeing people utilizing the waterfront like that, because that's what we're here to do, is to create that space and make it safe and make it possible for people to do that.
And what I love is it's a living, working environment. You know what I mean? There are people that live there. There are people that work there. There are people that come and visit there. And you're making all of that kind of work with your movie night, with your art exhibitions, with your history walk tour. There's so many things that are happening.
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, Exchange Place Alliance, Jersey City on the waterfront. So people, you can't say you got nothing to do anymore. because this is the place to be, especially with the nice weather coming up. Martin's going to be with us each and every week right here on the Suki and Scott Show on News 12 Plus, and he's going to keep us updated on all the activities and events going on. So you can't even say you didn't know about it, because you're going to see it right here on the Suki and Scott Show.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done. Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott, that's 7 of hearts. Exactly.
This is a sexy show.
Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor,
You like De Niro and 8 p.m. Counselor!
entertainment,
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
and optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights. It just fights the kung flu. Is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen. Your intro is fantastic.
Eric Roberts, you are correct, young man. We got to get Eric back on the show soon.
We should. We should.
He's done like 90 more movies since we had him on last.
When he was on the show, we made fun of it. We're like, how many movies? He said he had the most credits, right?
He was rolling it.
Yeah.
He's got like 400 movie
there was,
credits.
he holds the record.
Yeah,
It's
and especially way back during the pandemic, he was traveling all over the world because they're shooting films on their phones.
Yeah.
Eric Roberts available? Sure. Give him a few bucks.
Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining the Suki and Scott Show. And boy, you're always expecting the unexpected and a little bit of nostalgia sometimes with us, because Scotty and I we love things that are nostalgic. But this is going to be a trip down memory lane for sure.
Suk, listen, we've had folks. Let me think about it for a second, because we've had folks who pay tributes to famous singers, right? We had a gentleman, the guy who was George Michael, Bartko is now.
Yeah.
Looked and sounded just like George Michael. We've had
Queen.
The guy from Queen, Patrick Myers, who played Freddie
Freddie
Mercury.
Mercury.
Looked just like him, sounded like playing sold-out stadiums overseas.
Shows,
the fellow who was Barry Manilow. Remember, he came on, he sang, he played for us. And there's so many of these great groups. I was introduced to another one by the name, the group is called Top of the World.
Think about it, Top of the World. What would that be?
Top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I find.
There you go.
Because the love that I found ever since you've been around. Anyway, Suk, Top of the World, it's a tribute to the Carpenters, and their lead singer is a young lady by the name of Debbie Taylor. And I got to tell you,
Debbie sounds like her.
Somebody said, check out Debbie Taylor singing the Karen Carpenter. I played it for my wife. I said, you ever hear Karen Carpenter do this version of the song? She's like, yeah, I think so. That's her. She sounds exactly like her, Sue.
Yeah, she sounds exactly like her.
It's
and
fantastic.
What a treat. And like most things, Karen Carpenter died at a very young age.
Yeah.
And she had, she had left a body of work that still to this day we all enjoy with our families. It's like a trip down our memory lane, really.
Yeah, no, it's great. And these songs, every time I hear these songs come on 70s on 7, and I'm in the car, I got the windows. I don't care, Suk. I'm like, not that. My favorite one is don't you remember you told me you love me, baby?
They say you be coming back again, oh, baby. Baby, oh. And
I remember when I was a kid, I think I had a girlfriend, because I always had girlfriends.
You think you had a girlfriend? I think I've met a few of your girlfriends.
I've always had middle school. And I remember if we would break up or something, that song would come on my AM radio.
Yeah.
Can't we stop hurting each other? And I'd lay in bed. And it was the Carpenters. And listen, people will tell you, the experts in the music business will tell
Her
you,
voice.
Karen Carpenter had one of the greatest voices of all time.
It's like this lower octave, velvety.
Amazing.
I mean, it is just so sweet. I mean, when you hear rainy days and Mondays always get me down, and it is so true. Mondays, she hit it right on the nail. I mean, when she wrote that song, and of course, I mean, how many docudramas have you seen about Karen Carpenter and real life stories? I mean, I just can't get enough of it because, you know, people like back in the day, we didn't really know the story behind the story.
No, you're just watching. And there was no social media back then. So you didn't really know. Well, anyway, listen, Debbie Taylor is Karen Carpenter. That's all I could tell you. Here's a little bit of her singing with her group, Top of the World, a tribute to the Carpenters, and then we'll bring her in on the other side. Watch this.
We've only just begun to live. White lace and promises. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moon dust in your hair of golden starlight in your eyes of blue.
Ah, there she is, ladies.
That is why.
All the what? All the what, Deb?
Follow you all around.
Oh,
thanks, me. They long to be close to you.
Deb, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
This
is a lot of fun.
I saw some of your videos. I texted Sook. I said, Sook,
this is amazing.
She's coming on. She sounds just like Karen Carpenter. She's fantastic.
Thank you so much. By the way, I just on the heels of Kori Withers, I just want to tell you, my mother's name is Sookie.
Oh my gosh.
But it's spelled Sooky, and she's just been Sookie her whole life. So it's just when I heard Sookie and Scott, I'm going, that's a good fit.
Like Snooki.
Kind of.
Yeah, she's been called every time. Hey, there's Snooki and Scott, Sukiyaki and Scott. You guys are great.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But, you know, Debbie, can I ask you a question? When did you fall in love with Karen Carpenter, and tell me about your story behind this incredible legacy that you're continuing to share with the world?
I fell in love with the Carpenters probably when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, listening to their music. And I say in my show, I'm a soft rock junkie. I just
too.
I just love, you know, the Carpenters and, you know, Carole King, Carly Simon, you know, James Taylor, all that kind of stuff. That was definitely that was my wheelhouse. And as I got older, and I had my own wedding band for 20 years and kind of got tired of learning all the pop songs out there. And I saw that the wedding industry was changing, and I felt that I needed to do something that was a little bit more gratifying in terms musically to me. And my partner in the show, Paul Stewart, and I were doing a duo at a restaurant. And I also say this in the show. And we talked about this because every time I would do a Carpenter song at a venue or we were doing this duo at this, as I said, at this restaurant, there was a wonderful response. And it was very heartwarming. And he brought it up and he said, why don't we do this? And I was intimidated because I knew that to get it right, it would really take an inordinate amount of work to really pay tribute to, you know, the work that Richard had done and his arranging and his incredible productions and instrumentations. And of course, needless to say, Karen's vocals. And it took some rehearsals, and we rehearsed for 6 months. We had charts put together. Paul brought in 3 musicians. He brought in the drummer, the bass, and piano, who are just their resumes. If you look at the website, what they have, you know, who they've worked with and played with. And I brought in the 2 vocalists and the sax player, and it was the Brady Bunch of musicians. And it just it worked, and it has just been it's been a lot of hard work, but incredibly rewarding, and such an honor to do this music. Just tremendous honor, and to pay tribute to these two iconic musicians and all that, you know, their legacies that they've left.
Yeah, and Richard is just, you know, he was the backbone of this whole thing. You know,
Yeah,
Karen was
right.
the voice. And, you know, I mean, you know, when she passed away, I mean, I remember when she passed away, and I remember my mother being very sad. And I remember going to the supermarket, the Pathmark, the next, you know, like couple of days. And, you know, there was the cover of People magazine, and there was Karen Carpenter. And you didn't know how old she was. She was so young. She was in her 30s when she passed away.
32.
Yeah. 32 years old when she passed away.
Yeah.
And, you know, and of course we know that she died of anorexia, and you know, that brought to light the whole story of eating disorders, which back in the day in the 80s, nobody was discussing any of that.
No.
So she, you know, the story behind her own story is just so, it's sad in many ways. And you hear that melancholy tone in her voice as well when she sings. Do you
And
think that, Debbie?
she was way beyond her years. She was 19 when they did, you know, Ticket to Ride, and they started they did a little trio before that, but she was just so beyond her years, and her tone and the way that she sang, and the feeling that she had in these songs. I mean, for somebody that had not had a lot of life experience, you would never know that by the way she translated these songs vocally. And as I said, doing them now for the people that are coming to our shows, that I'm so honored that they do. They are getting to relive, whether they have seen the Carpenters or had not seen the Carpenters. We are trying to give them that full experience of, you know, I'm not pretending to be Karen. I'm certainly flattered if anybody even compares me to her, but the music is the music, and it moves people to a level. And that's what I find out after the shows, when I get to meet everybody. Because I always go out to the audience after, into the lobby, and the stories, and people bring scrapbooks, and they bring their tickets to shows. And they're, you know, this was my song, and I was singing with my hairbrush in my bedroom, and I was, you know, it's really, really humbling to hear how this music moves people and what we're doing.
And it's like the whole brother-sister duo too, you know, and the innocence of that, you know, and also the innocence of us at that time.
That's it too. It was a much more innocent. Listen, we're in a very polarized society right now.
Yeah.
And going back then, it was just for people to listen to the music it brings them all. I hear people all the time. I close my eyes and I just sit back, and I'm just, you know, taken back. And
it's when you listen to the radio, you turn on the radio, or you put on the record player.
Right.
Yeah, it
when
just
I
takes you
was
back to a
young,
simpler
I
time.
listened to the radio, waiting for my favorite songs. When they played, I'd sing along. It made me smile.
So you sound just like her, though. You do sound just like her, Deb. I can imagine, like with your singing prowess, you probably could have decided to do a tribute to any female singer. Were there any others of that, you know, from that generation that were kicking around in your head while you were thinking about which direction to go?
As a wedding band leader, obviously I had to do
all of them,
everything from Aretha to Rihanna to Lady Gaga. You know, you have to do everything. I mean, I grew up also really, really loving Linda Ronstadt. I mean, Linda Ronstadt and I loved singing her stuff, especially her Nelson Riddle Orchestra stuff, you know, all the beautiful standards. But I think for me, Karen was just the most natural fit because of her contralto range and getting way down in what she would call her basement, you know, part of her voice.
Yes, that real silky, smooth.
I mean, what I say, I describe her voice in the show as if you take butter and satin and you know, honey and mix it all together. That's kind of what you get when you hear her. You know, it's just perfection.
Yeah.
Is there one that for you is like, this is the one I really hit the best?
It's an interesting question, and I get it a lot, and it's kind of like Sophie's Choice. You know, it's like, how do you pick? There are audience responses to certain songs. Obviously, there's a big collective when we start Close to You, because everybody knows that song.
Like me.
Yeah, that one. And the other one, it's interesting. I always hear people singing is For All We Know. You love, look at the two of us, strangers in many ways. I'll always hear people singing that song. I guess it was some people's wedding songs. And I do love the songs. I love singing the song, the Leon Russell tune, A Song for You. Yeah, I've been so many places in my life and time. I sung a lot of songs. I've made some bad rhyme. I've acted out my love in stages with 10,000 people watching. But we're alone now, and I'm singing this song for you.
Wow. I love it.
So
I love
beautiful.
that.
I forgot about that
Sounds
song
great.
that she did. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Actually,
And there's another song I do in the show that I always say is very special to me. You might see in the back there's a picture of me with one of my golden retrievers.
Yes.
Here, she's since gone. I have two Goldens. And my boy, I do therapy work with him in the hospitals, and he was one of the dogs in Parkland with the kids, and he was in the Surfside Collapse. And he's just done a lot of work, and a lot of children and oncology. And the song "Bless the Beasts and the Children," which was the Carpenters tune. Our show has beautiful visuals behind us for every song.
Oh,
and
wow.
that one in particular, there are slides of, his name is Cash, of Cash doing his work in the hospitals,
I love that.
and other kids and, whatever, and animals. And it's just, it's a heartwarming part of the show.
Obviously, when you're doing, the Top of the World and a Carpenter's tribute, are you telling and sharing stories?
Absolutely.
That you've learned about Karen?
Yep. That's, when I wrote the show, I was concerned that I might talk too much in between and people would be bored.
No.
But what I have found over the 7 years we're doing the show now, that is one of the favorite things for people, because when I tell a story about like Rainy Days and Mondays, how it was Paul Williams was living with his mother, and she walked around talking to herself and just felt like she was getting old. And Roger Nichols approached him with that beautiful melody and asked him if he had lyrics to put with it. There was Rainy Days and Mondays, talking to myself and feeling old. Sometimes I'd like to quit.
Wow.
It never seems to fit. That was the
hanging around. Oh my God, that makes sense. Nothing to do but frown. Rainy days and Mondays
always get me down. Yep. So there are wonderful stories, and it connects everybody to the song, and it makes it even more. It just brings it full circle.
I mean, you brought up Paul Williams. Talk about another crazy story in show business. His story is also one that's out of the books when you think about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, and another one of my favorite songs is Rainbow Connection, and he wrote that song.
Oh, the Rainbow Connection.
Yeah. Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're all wait and see. So that song was actually written for the Muppet movie.
Yeah.
The Rainbow Connection.
The Carpenters did it, but did a very raw version, and it sat on a shelf for years because Karen didn't love it. So it sat there. And then some fans were very, very clever, found out about it, and got Richard to put all of his gorgeous strings and arrangements on it, and then released it long after Karen was gone in 2004 on the As Time Goes
Wow.
On.
Can I ask you a question? Because Richard really carried the torch for Karen in many ways. There were lots of PBS specials that were out, like, you know, where Richard actually talks about songs and things that were going on during that time. Have you ever met him? Did you ever have any connection with him? Did he ever know that you were kind of carrying the torch? Yeah.
So, you know, it's interesting. I get that question, and I always say if he was ever in the audience, I'd probably have to wear Depends, because I don't know that I could handle that, because I have such unbelievable respect for his perfectionism, and his sister is second to none. And the closest I've gotten, now they just had a 55th anniversary out in California, and some of the other tribute acts went out there. And because I think I told, I just had jaw surgery, so I couldn't fly out there. But the closest thing is, and I pulled this letter back in last year, we did a show in Fort Myers. Before the show, I got a letter, and it was from Don Peterson, who turned out he was the Carpenters pilot. He flew their Learjet for 2 years, and then became their tour, their agent, you know, on their tour manager. And he told me he was going to be at the show, which of course was like, oh God, you know, like that's the closest connection to this. And he sat there, and we did he sent me a picture of Karen and them in front of a Learjet. So we took it, and I start talking about, he allowed me to, you know, talk about him. And one of my singers put a picture of a big jet and put our logo on the top of it. And I was telling everybody about the story. And I said, by the way, Don, if you're available, we've been saving our money, and we now have a jet. Would you be interested in the
around?
You know, so
it's amazing.
He was so nice. And when he came up to us at the end, and he said, I can't tell you what it felt to hear this music live again. And it warmed my heart immensely. But no, back to your original question, I have not met Richard, and it would be a tremendous, beyond belief honor too.
Well, back during the pandemic, Suk, when everybody, and we had shows in the pandemic, and we always played a lot of folks or bands everybody would be separate in different boxes and do their parts. Take a look at this from a couple of years ago. Watch how great it sounds.
All my life, I could love only you all your life. You could love only me. Tell me why then? Why should it be that we go on hurting each other? We go on hurting each other, making each other cry, hurting each other without ever knowing why.
Can't we stop hurting each other? Suki, it brings me back to 8th grade again.
Okay, that goes back.
We did a lot. We did a few of those. Obviously, we were all sitting around, and it was great to be able to do those. And if you noticed on that, there are 3 keyboards there, because and we travel with 2 of those little keyboards because they store a lot of the sounds because of the orchestration in all the Carpenters music, which was so insanely full. And so we have 3 keyboards to be able to bring out a lot of different sounds. And I was telling Scott that we've done some work with symphonies, and we're going back out. We're going to be in Kentucky, I think in September, with the symphony, and then we go back out to Palm Desert to do the show with the symphony. And the first time I ever did that, I was at the rehearsal, and I turned around and I went, are you kidding me?
Amazing, yeah.
I mean, I look, I'm very modest. I'm also a dental hygienist. I'm going back home to pick people's teeth, and I'm turning around, and there are cellos and violins and harps and everything, and my band is in front of them, and it was chills, just absolute pinch me moments to hear that music and have, you know, a full, beautiful theater full of people that really wanted to be there to hear this with these gorgeous orchestrations.
Well, we've got a little clip of you playing with the symphony. Take a look right here. Watch this, Suk.
He's got a ticket to ride. He's got a ticket to ride, and he don't care. Don't know why he's riding so high. Got to ride by me. All he needs to say goodbye. Got to ride by me.
Suk, how was that unbelievable?
That was absolutely beautiful. And I really,
love
that is a pinch me moment, because that really just comes to life, and it really highlights what a tactician Richard Carpenter was when it came to creating that full bodied sound that really supported his sister. It was like, you know, it was incredible. Do you have a story that you'd like to share about Karen Carpenter as we, you know, kind of, you know, highlight this wonderful person whose life was really cut way too short? If you think about it, 32, way too young to die. A body of work that she left behind that we all know and we appreciate and love. But a story that you'd like to share, Debbie?
I mean, the story, it's not a personal story with her, obviously, because I never had the pleasure of meeting her. I'm beyond, you know, humbled to be able to do this music. And as I talk about them throughout the show, and the legacy that they have left, and just how incredible her voice was, and how it just gives people a feeling like you just can't find in other vocalists. She's iconic. She's just iconic. And if I touch on her voice this much, then I'm doing something. And I think what the show has done also is, very quickly, we did a show in New Mexico in August, and I walk out on stage, and right in front of me are 3 kids, 10, 8, and 6. The most adorable kids. But honestly, my first thought is, oh crap.
Right. They don't know this.
I'm thinking, you know, fidgeting, got to go to the bathroom. I have kids and grandchildren, so I know what kids are going to do. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Well, I start singing Rainy Days and Mondays, and I'm hearing voices singing. The 3 kids are singing all the music.
Wow.
And I'm looking at, because Grandma's sitting next to them, and she plays it for them all the time. So I always say at the end of my show, please, please promise me that you will play this for the young people in your life to, you know, we're doing our part in the most joyous way to bring this music and make it still relevant for everybody, for newer audiences, as well as the ones that know it. And here was an example of just the best grandmother in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, honestly, I don't think there's been a voice like Karen Carpenter, because nobody really is in that low registry, that real beautiful, like, you know, really breathy, and ooh, like you said, it's just so
Suk,
well
you're doing it right now, Suki. You're doing it now.
Like I don't, you know, I have a very low voice too. For, you know, I remember when I started broadcasting, everyone's like, "Oh, is that your voice?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's always been my voice. You know, it's always had that, like, you know,
little baritone."
Yeah, like it's heavier. And I remember just you know, like Karen Carpenter having that heaviness to her voice and just being able to relate to it. But she was such a master in moving her voice in these beautiful rhythms.
Just control, and you know, like I say, there's a lot of wonderful singers.
I know.
Out there. And what I loved about her is she doesn't do what I call vocal gymnastics.
Yes.
Melody. It was just beautiful melody. And of course, Richard laying all that gorgeous music under her, which was just like a landscape for her. You know,
oh my God, I love it.
Let's not forget what a drummer she was.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah,
that
she
was
also
also another
drummed,
thing.
unreal.
Yeah. That, you know, I remember watching in the PBS special, which was like, she never wanted to be the front man. That's why she was like, wanted to be in the back drumming, because she didn't want the attention on her, which then, you know, you find her
incredibly humble.
Yeah.
One of the stories also in Ticket to Ride that I talk about is she was walking out of a restaurant in California, and John Lennon was walking in, and Karen was with her manager, and he walked up to her and said, I just want I just wanted to say that I loved your voice, love.
Oh my
And
God.
Oh my God.
was like-
I would have been like,
That's unbelievable.
She was just, well, there was a lot of love and respect for each other and between the Carpenters and the Beatles. But she just said, did he really mean that? You know,
Yeah.
and he said, her manager said, it's John Lennon. He meant it.
He meant
yeah,
it.
he doesn't have to say anything.
Debbie, before we
Thank you,
before we
Debbie.
go,
Mhm.
can you just give me like, I don't know, like a minute of maybe Superstar?
This one's for you. I'm going to do this in the mic. Hold on.
Oh,
Okay.
you going music
She's
too?
going music.
I'm going music. I'm going music. I got coming
Oh,
into the second verse. Here we go.
See what we got.
Loneliness is such a sad affair, and I can hardly wait to be with you again. What to say to make you come again? Come back to me again and play your sad guitar. Don't you remember you told me you loved me, baby? You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do. Don't you remember you told me you loved me, baby? You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do.
Nice. Nice. All right, Deb, here's what we're going to do. Before we go, without the mic and the music, I'm going to say the same thing to you. Give me 30 seconds with no mic and no music. You ready?
Because we just want to make sure.
I just want to make sure I have two different versions of it. All right?
What are we doing?
The same thing,
song.
but you don't have to
You
go
don't
as
have to do
long.
the whole thing. But just give
Ready?
us like 10
Here we go. Debbie, do me a favor. Before we go, can you just give me a little Superstar? That's one of my favorites. Go ahead.
Sure.
Loneliness is such a sad affair, and I can hardly wait to be with you again. What to say to make you come again? Come back to me again and play your sad guitar. Come on, sing it with me here.
Oh, don't you remember you told me you love me, baby? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Baby, 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 oh baby, I
love you.
I
really do.
Love it.
Listen, Deb, you ever need us to come sing with you back up on stage? You let us know.
Anytime.
We'll be there.
Listen, Debbie, where do fans find you?
Yeah, where can they find you
I know
guys?
you're out and about, and you'll be there in July. I think you're going to start up again.
Yeah, we start up again. We'll be in at the American Music Theater in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's July 5th. The 6th was just announced. We're at the Lamp Theater. The next day, we're in Somersville. I'm not really sure. It's the first time we're there. But all of our dates are on our website. It's topoftheworldcarpenterstribute.com. And we're on Facebook. We'd love for people to follow us. After every show, I post something about the show and some pictures. And it's Top of the World, a Carpenter's Tribute on Facebook. And you know, that's the best way to stay in touch with us. And we love talking to people and staying in touch with everybody.
Debbie, thank you
You're
so
the best,
much.
Debbie.
Amazing.
I
Really
hope
good.
Richard sees this and reaches out to you and your band. I'm putting that out there into the universe.
Oh God.
And that would be kind of amazing.
And if you're ever in the New York area,
yeah,
let us know, because
we'll come and see your show.
We'll introduce you at least on stage.
That would be, I would love that. We're going to be in, it's not in the city, but we're going to be in Long Island. We'll be in Suffolk, which I think is Riverhead, the Suffolk Theater. Then we'll be in Peekskill, which I know is north. So
Peekskill's not too far.
Well, we'll see you then.
If you're ever in Connecticut too, you know, like those whole area, New Jersey, Connecticut.
Suffolk's out with those Hamptonite people, you know.
I know in the summer it's
Please check our website, please, because I would love nothing more than to meet you. And I thank you so much. This was such a joy. Thank you for having me. Really.
Thank you, Debbie. Pleasure.
Thank you.
This will be on all over USA Today and everywhere else. It'll be great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Debbie.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Check her out, Top of the World.
Sook, I told you.
Tribute to Karen Carpenter.
I never disappoint you.
That was really good. That
Never
was really
disappoint,
good.
ladies
You
and
didn't
gentlemen.
know that I knew that much about Karen Carpenter.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you knew all the songs.
I knew the songs, but I knew the story behind the story.
We've only just begun, Suki,
and we continue to go on the Suki and Scott show.
We're going to end this one of these days. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. Stick around because we got a couple more clips for you. Suki and Scott, we love you. Don't move a muscle. We'll be right back. Hey guys, did you know the Suki and Scott show is back on News 12 Plus, bigger and better than ever?
Scotty, we've got more celebrities, got more in-depth interviews, and more performers too.
More things for me to quiz you on, Suki.
Oh boy, the Suki and Scott show every Saturday and Sunday morning at 9.
And Sundays at 8, prime time. Brought to you by our friends at the Exchange Place Alliance in Jersey City.
Exchange Place Alliance on the Jersey City shoreline is now the Tri-State's go-to spots.
You got playgrounds, history walks, music, art, and so much more.
Go to exchangeplacealliance.com for more information.
Riding on the city of New Orleans, Illinois Central Monday morning rail. 15 cars and 15 restless riders, 3 conductors and 25 sacks of mail. All along the southbound Odyssey, the train pulls out of Kankakee, rolls along past houses, farms, and fields, passing graves that have no name, freight yards full of old black men, and the graveyards of rusted automobiles. Good morning, America, how are you? Don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Dealing cards with the old men in the club car. Penny a point, ain't no one keeping score. Pass the paper bag that holds the bottle, and feel the wheels grumbling neath the floor. And the sons of Pullman porters and the sons of engineers ride their father's magic carpet made of steel. Mothers with their babes asleep, rocking to the gentle beat, and the rhythm of the rails is all they feel. Good morning, America, how are you? Don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. nighttime on the city of New Orleans. Changing cars in Memphis, Tennessee. Halfway home, we'll be there by the morning. Through the Mississippi darkness, rolling down to the sea. But all the towns and people seem to fade into a bad dream. And the steel rail still ain't heard the news. The conductor sings this song again. The passenger will please refrain. This train has got the disappearing railroad blues. Good morning, America, how are you? Don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done.